So I imagine that my energy centers, we can call them chakras or energy centers or call them whatever we want to call them, but these energy centers that are in the very middle of us. And I feel like there's a line of energy drawn from the crown right down through to my base chakra. And it felt like from my throat down to my base chakra, the serpent was entwined and wrapped around my energy line.
Yeah. What is that yogic or Eastern chakra conception of that connection? How would you describe that if you're trying to tell someone what that energy line is, what it does?
Well, it's like, if you imagine that we have the arteries and the veins and the capillaries that are the flow of blood through our whole body, then this energy line is the flow of energy through our body. And the meridians, and the chi, the life force energy. And it's the center of that. It's like the central nervous system for the energy flow.
Maybe am I mistaken in recalling, or did I make this up in my mind, that different chakras regulate different emotions, behaviors?
Different energies, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you were to characterize this as one form of energy versus a different one, like you said, there's the crown chakra, and that regulates what, or expresses what?
I think, and again, I'm a bit of a layman in this, so this is just my interpretation of it. Mm-hmm. But I think that probably my interpretation is what matters in this dream thing, because it's my dream, right?
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're completely wrong, that still may be the correct interpretation.
Yeah, right. So my interpretation of the chakras is that the crown chakra is our access to the universe, to the divine, to the enlightened, to the knowledge of everything, of the universe. And then the throat chakra is expression, our ability to express ourselves, to feel heard, to speak. Heart chakra is our access to love and compassion. And then moving down to our gut chakra, which is, there's an intelligence there as well. And it's the seat of our own personal kind of, happy Buddha. And then down to the base chakra, we're accessing our kind of more primal energies, our sexual drives, and our, that more carnal drive or motivation. And for me, the serpent was wrapped around every part of me from the throat down. But it didn't feel like it was wrapped around it didn't have anything to do with my crown chakra. It was wrapped around everything else.
It does seem like it started at the throat chakra. So it actually left that unaffected, unincorporated into its extension. But so I'm glad you explained it to me, number one, because so I can get an idea of what you think it is, but also to wrap my brain around how it is. Because I knew each one kind of had a different, something, a different human capacity, so to speak, linked to it. And this is, so it's very much, so it's leaving out the divine enlightenment section. It doesn't touch that. It doesn't reach all the way there, but it wraps around or incorporates, impedes, exists along everything else and stretches the full length of it. And that's where it's happy. So whatever it is in your mind is encompassing almost the totality of human experience, except touching the divine, access to the divine. That's interesting too. And you wanted it out. When you wanted it out, did you feel why did you want it out? Did you have a concept of why it was necessary to remove it?
Yeah, it was time. It was time for it to it was time for it to not have its home in me. It was time for us to separate. It felt like it had grown in me. It felt like ever since it was a tiny, since its own conception was in me. It didn't know any other home, but it wasn't me. It felt like it was a part of me. The serpent felt like, kind of like, why are you trying to get me out of you? This is my home. This is where I've grown up. And it felt like it had been in me for a long time, but it was time for it to go. It was time. I don't know how to say it other than that.
Fair enough. So the time felt right to remove it.
Yes.
But you didn't have an explicit sense say that it was impeding anything, blocking anything, serving as an impediment or blockage. Those are the words that come to my mind.
Yeah. It did. It felt like it was. Okay. It felt like it was impeding upon something. It felt like, I really needed to get this out. It was very important to get it out. Like I said, I even came out of this dream and went and settled my kids in the next bedroom, and then came back to bed and went straight back into the dream to finish the work. So it was very important to get it out. Gotcha.
That's, and kind of nailing down the reason it needed to be removed, if it were possible to be super specific, would probably give us a huge clue as to what it is and why it needed to go. But that may be something we get down to eventually. I'm trying to ride that line between asking you questions to directly answer and asking you for your interpretation at the end of it, because some of it's looking back. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to.
Oh, good, man.
Confuse the two, if at all possible.